Basically what we're going to do, it's very, very informal. I want this all to come from the heart, which is that this is what this is all about, to spread kindness, to spread hope, especially as people go through these tough times in so many ways. Any stories of inspiration, of transformation, of just words to spread kindness, to spread awareness of certain things, so we can all just live in a world that's better overall. That's all. I mean, I gave you some pointers of what to talk about. You don't have to follow that, but stories are what connects. So if you have stories, that would be wonderful. Okay. Andrea, hello.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
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 So we're gonna keep it real, keep it informal, about 7 to 10 minutes each speaker. I know Julius and LaToya, you guys are gonna do my first ever duo.
Nice.
I am excited. So that's gonna be awesome. And then whatever time we have left over, if anyone in the audience, which we have around 50 so people, want to ask questions or share their own stories, that's what we'll do. Without further ado, why we're here, everyone's going to be coming from the heart, sharing stories. So I really appreciate you guys being here. And remember, it's all about this. Everyone do this.
Yeah.
It's all about the heart. So if something's clogging you up in the mind, or you brought along some baggage here today, I feel some baggage in some of the boxes. You might want to go out and come back in and leave the baggage over there, because tonight, today, this afternoon, wherever you are calling from, it's all about this. It's going to come from the heart. And even though this is my second time, and if you can please mute yourself if you're not speaking, even though this is my second time doing this, I'm extremely nervous. Extremely nervous, because this all comes from the heart, and it's vulnerability. Vulnerability is scary, but I wonder why it's so scary, because vulnerability is actually being ourselves. So it should be the other way around. If we're trying to not be ourselves, it should be nerve-wracking. But it's just a wonder of life. So right now we have a platform to go beyond that. I want to dedicate. If you're not muted, please mute yourself, or let me see. If you can't find the mute button, I will help you. This rally is a little bit different for me. I invited all sorts of people from my life, including Houston Writers Guild, shout out to them, including UST, University of St. Thomas, shout out to them, IFMA, Feature Line, so many people. So I appreciate you guys all being here and having been a part of my life. This rally is a little bit different because I had a great loss about a week ago. It started about exactly this time a week ago. If you know me, I'm a huge animal lover. I have 3 dogs, and my dog Eddie passed away. He was suffering from heart failure, but he also had a stroke, and then he had a second stroke last week. And I'm completely numb. I haven't really expressed emotion, which is the first ever for me. I've been holding this the whole time. I'm gonna hold it the whole time. It's my dog. And I just want to warn you that my emotions can come up at any time. That's what they told me. So if it does come out, whether it's me or someone else, Sharon, you're sharing again. Whether it's me or someone else, remind everyone, and just do this. That will give them the strength to keep going, because I don't want people to think too much about perfection and what has to come out of their words, or if they get emotional. I want them to keep going. Every person has around 10 minutes. I'm not going to be saying you have 1 minute left, you have to, because this is emotional stuff. So I'm going to leave it up to them to own their 10 minutes. But if you see people struggling or they're sharing things that are perhaps nerve-wracking or vulnerable, do this to continue to give them strength, or do this if you feel what they're saying, if you can relate, because that gives us courage. It gives us courage to keep going. I wanted to start out by something I haven't done before, and I'm not very eloquent today because of everything that's been going on. But when we took my dog last weekend to get cremated, on the way there, we dropped him off, and afterwards I told my husband, oh, let's go to Target because I need picture frames, and I just want to print out a whole bunch of pictures. And then when we got to Target, and the strangest thing that I've ever seen was outside. It was this guy playing an accordion of the song Hallelujah. When do you see that outside of a Target, a guy with an accordion? So I wanted to share that song while I just drafted this like 20 minutes before, and I wanted to dedicate this to Eddie. He was curious, quirky, playful, smart, and mischievous. He was kind beyond words, generous with his love, selfless with his energy, always protecting me when I didn't think I needed protection. He was my rock, my compass, my reminder that life is worth living. He was my baby boy. He is forever in my heart, waiting for me in heaven, my angel who continues to protect me this very minute. My sweet little boy, I love you, Eddie. So that's my Eddie. That's my Eddie. Can you guys hear the song? It was just amazing. I couldn't believe that was playing when it got out. So now that's just song is always stuck in my mind. I saw also this quote that just came to me, and I don't believe in coincidences. Came to me this morning in my feed. People lose their way when they lose their why. So I was thinking, oh my gosh, so many people from different facets of my life are coming in. What am I going to say? And I have to say the right things. And I haven't seen them in so long, and maybe even people that don't know me. So I saw this quote, and I'm just like, focus on your why, Andrea, focus on your why. Why are you doing this? Why do you keep doing this? It's because I believe in creating environments where people can be themselves, or have the courage to be themselves, or empower them to be themselves so they don't feel so alone. We've all gone through something, and I'm shaking. We've all gone through something, and it's time to speak up and realize that we're not alone. That what you may have gone through, others may have gone through, but no one may have had the courage to speak up about it. So this is what this is about. This is what this is about. I want to, I usually don't read, but today is just an interesting feeling kind of day for me. And before I give way to the fabulous speakers that we have, I want to dedicate this next minute for a moment of silence. Not for what you think of Eddie or everything going on in the world, but a moment of silence to judgment that is not good for us. And again, I wrote this 20 minutes before, right after I wrote the Eddie thing. I wrote this, it just came out. So I don't know how, I didn't even proof it. I'm an editor, I'm a writer. This is nerve-wracking to me. I just went. So this is what came out. Judgment From this day forward, it can no longer tell me how to feel, how to be, how to see, what to wear, what to think, what to eat, what to say. Today's judgment that prevents me from being myself is gone. You meant well as you tried to make me feel that by listening to you, I would belong, that I'd fit in and that I would be of value to others. Now that you're gone, I realize you were just trying to protect me. You've taught me the greatest lesson of all. From this day forward, I will no longer have you to hide my emotions, my light, and my spark. You've taught me to appreciate the beauty, power, and emotional freedom to be myself. Without you, judgment, life will be beautiful. But it took knowing you to realize not to take who I am for granted. It's time to be happy. It's time to live. It's time to pay it forward. So let hope, kindness, and internal flames that come from the heart now light the way. With that, thank you. Thank you, guys. With that, I want to introduce my friend, a superpower when it comes to content and just being authentically you, Ozeal.
Thank you, Andrea. I appreciate that. And first off, my deepest condolences. I know what it's like to lose a family member. Pets are family members, and my heart goes out to you and your family. And may Eddie rest in light. So I just want a big heart. Everybody, we can give a big heart for Andrea for showing up and being courageous enough to share that. I know it's not easy. So I hold space for that. We all do. First and foremost, also I want to acknowledge, I can't kick this off without acknowledging a leader that we have in Andrea. I met her about 2 years ago, right, Andrea? I think it was a little bit over 2 years ago. I'm not sure. Yeah. So you're someone who I've had the honor of attending your events, speaking at your events, seeing you invest so much time and energy and passion to your community, whether it's the creative writing group, to now what you're doing now, which is amazing, to hold space. We need more events like this. And I love the fact that you have taken upon yourself to express your leadership through a different platform in a much needed time right now. So again, a big heart for just showing up and doing this event for all of us. So absolutely. So hello, everybody. It's a great turnout. Great to see everybody. My name is Ozeal DeBastos. I am a content creator, a podcast consultant, and a father of an amazing 3-year-old who brings me a lot of light and joy in my life. I'm excited because I believe now again is more than ever. I mean, we need to lean into this conversation of collective empathy and compassion and love, positivity and hope for humanity, and do our part to make a positive dent in this world. Despite what the media portrays, I'm here to remind everyone who's watching that love and kindness rules the world, and that community is our biggest weapon, each other, to dismantle the negativity, the uncertainty, everything that tries to pull us down on a daily basis, especially now. Prior to COVID-19, my personal health wasn't in the best shape. 2019, it was really bad. I got diagnosed with high blood pressure. It got to a point where it was really bad. I was in a really toxic situation, emotionally, physically, mentally. I was at my lowest point. And I transitioned. 2020 came about, and I made a big pivot in my life, made a decision to better myself and to make some changes. And I started a company that skyrocketed right out the gate, which I was grateful for. Business was going well, and I was getting back into shape. And then this uninvited guest, hashtag COVID-19, came into our lives and shut everything down. And as many of you, I'm pretty sure, went through this, the first week, I recall watching the news and on social media and just being filled, and it was like just a sucker punch with sadness and like depression. And I was really down on myself. I was like, what's happening to this world? And that week prior to that, to the shutdown here in Houston, we had an amazing event for a podcasting group that I host. It was such amazing community. Everybody was just together and happy. And then this happened. So it was really unexpected, and it really took me out of the loop. And then I gave myself, okay, I'm going to give myself a week to see what's happening in this world. And then I'm going to pull away. I'm going to pull away and lean inward to my soul, to my light, and figure out a way to how can I bring a positive light during this time. So I got back in the gym, and first and foremost, I started taking care of myself. And one day I was having a conversation with a friend of mine about COVID-19, and she was expressing a lot of what emotions that she was going through. And I call it divine intervention. Something God, the universe, told me I was inspired to turn this pandemic into a positive place where I can bring people together in sharing a sense of community and hope and motivation for others. So I started a podcast called COVID Operations, which was an audio documentary of real stories from real people from all over the world sharing their experiences. I put the word out there in a few forums, and next thing you know it, I got a bunch of people that were contributing their audio experiences globally from all over, and it was just truly amazing, and it was rewarding, and it was sad. It was all these emotions because I got to hear, and by the way, it's up there for you guys to listen to. You got to hear the raw, authentic emotions that people were going through. Even my mom got on the microphone and expressed what she was going through. I remember sitting back, and I was like, Mom, I just want you to just press record and speak your truth. And I remember hearing her and can hear the fear, of the uncertainty and hear everything that she was going through. And it was heartbreaking. And then, of course, I got to hear everybody else. People were losing family members and were sharing that on the podcast. People were going through, finding out that they were going through divorce in the middle of this stuff. It was just all these emotions that were going through. And, but it was inspiring because the podcast showed me the power of voice, of collective voice. And it showed me that how we can truly make a positive impact on the world if we decide to show up and show with courage and purpose and to create a space for others to come and share. That we have the ability to shine light when everybody else sees darkness. And if there's anything that I wanted to share with you guys, I know this is about hope and kindness, that, this is our opportunity, guys. This is an opportunity to come out of the closet, to be seen, to be heard, to humanize our movement of hope and kindness. And it's important for us to share this greatest gift that we all have, which is love, which is truly love. And I truly believe that community is the new currency. Community is the new currency. And I'm calling out everyone to step into their heart, to engage, support events like this, to host an online event of your own in your own community, to help other people out, to hold space for others. And it's important to stop living in autopilot. I think this pandemic showed me that it's important to stop living in autopilot. And I think we can all attest to that, right? We're just on autopilot, but we don't pause. And COVID-19, this whole pandemic really taught me to press pause, gain perspective, and really lean into gratitude and appreciation for the world and everything that's happening. So take a moment when you go out there to thank somebody, a nurse, somebody who's sacking your groceries, the barista, really express kindness and appreciation, because now more than ever, we need that. We really, really need that. And, for those that are here with us, I just want to thank you for just being a part of something bigger outside of yourself. And that I challenge you to humanize yourself and get back to the sole purpose of living and to love and care for each other. It's time to get radical about love, y'all. It's time to get radical about love and caring about each other. you know, to keep our vibe higher than negativity. And that's the only way we will all rise together. And I just wanted to share that with you because that was something that I discovered through my journey, and especially like after, you know, 2019, when I was going up and down, right? So I went from like really low to really high and then back down. And I wanted to make sure that with podcasting, and I know there's people here who have their own shows that contribute to people, you know, you can make a positive dent in this world, you know, and I think that's important for us to be reminded of that every day. We all have that ability to love. And let us not, and once again, despite what the media says, let us not lose touch with the beauty of our human soul. And we have that. So I challenge all of you to be leaders and raise your voice and do your part to show kindness and hope. Because I believe that together we will rise above this and this will pass. And I believe that this world could be much, much better. It could be more conscious. It could be more mindful once this passes, if we all continue to contribute our positive light and impact to the world. So I want to thank you, Andrea, for allowing me this platform to share. Yes, Gabriel, I see you, and I see you guys. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And again, this brings me light and joy because normally I get asked to speak on podcasts and content creation. And when Andrea invited me to speak on this, I had to like lean in from a different angle and like, what can I share? And I've been with this. I've been with community for a long time. Brian, I know he's in the house right now. He's part of a podcasting community, and I'm all about community. And I just want to encourage you guys to continue pouring in and investing in your community. It's power. It's power. And Andrea, I commend you once again for making this happen. I love you.
Love you too, Ozeal. You, again, he's a powerhouse, but a powerhouse with heart.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I receive that.
Put in your contact info on the chat. He has a wonderful community as well. I mean, so many people on here, whether you're speaking or not, have wonderful communities, and your platforms are making a difference. So keep at it. Thank you, Ozeal. That was powerful.
Thank you. Next,
we have Andrea. When we worked together, we were known as A Squared. But Andrea is full of heart as well. She's a courageous, strong, very determined person to make a dent in this world. And I'm lucky to have her here. She was one of the first to reach out to say, I need to talk at your next one. So I'm like, I guess I'm having a next one. So thank you, Andrea, and I'm glad you're here.
Thank you, Andrea. I miss our Andrea Squared days, to say the least. Thank you for creating this safe space for everyone to share. The first event that you hosted, and I see some of the folks who spoke at the last one, I carry all of you who spoke in my heart since that day when you shared so much of your personal struggles, your pain. I'm an empath, so I absorbed all of you and what you did share. And it did inspire me and where I want to be in this COVID world that we live in right now. Ozeal, what you just said, coming out of the closet and sharing sharing from us, from our hearts. That's really what it's about right now. Everyone's in pain in different ways. So Andrea, thank you again for creating this safe space. And I have to say that I was not nervous coming into today's call. However, I see some of my professional colleagues in here today, and that honestly terrifies me. I love all of you, lovely, lovely ladies. But what I'm about to share actually is very deeply personal, and very, very few people know it outside of my soul sister, who also surprised me by being on this call. Shout out to Danielle, who's loved me unconditionally since the day she met me. So anyway, I'll just dive in, and Andrea, you might not want to cut me off, but the rest of you who know me from Futureline know that I can story tell till probably 4 p.m. So the rest of you, please feel free to like wave your hands and be like, it's time, stop, when I'm done. So anyway, let's dive in. Really, when I started thinking about what I wanted to share today about kindness. There are 3 words that come to me, and it's perception, curiosity, and kindness. Why? When we have a certain perception about somebody, judgment comes along with it usually. And that puts up a roadblock or an obstacle in us being able to love unconditionally or be unconditional with that person. This applies personally and professionally. It's in all aspects of our life, to the accordion player in front of Target and just walking by without acknowledging that person or having a certain perception or judgment about why that person is doing something or why they're there. Instead, if we come into life and into our situations with curiosity, we stop the roadblocks, we ask questions, and then it transcends the differences that we have. Doesn't matter where we came from, what we look like, who we are ultimately. If we ask questions about somebody or why someone is doing something or being a certain way, we start to break down those barriers and the walls that create differences and negativity and frustration and anger along the way. So I'm starting with that because as I head into the personal things that I'm about to share, keep that in mind. I've faced discrimination. I've faced all kinds of ugly words and labels over the years because I'm different. And being different doesn't fit in with the majority of people. And when that's the case, we learn, those who are different, we learn to not own our voice. We learn to hide. We learn to protect ourselves because it then becomes dangerous to who we are. It becomes dangerous to our careers when we share who we are and we're our authentic selves. So thank you, Andrea, again, for creating this safe space so that I can speak my truth. I'm not here to convince anybody of anything. It's just who I am, and that's shaped how I behave towards others in my life and professionally. So that said, I'll just dive right in and I'll rip off that Band-Aid now that I've like built up this whole like me being different bit. If you look at my LinkedIn profile, it doesn't, well, it speaks to maybe where I've been professionally, and people will look at it and say, wow, like she had so many opportunities. Yeah, I did. But it doesn't talk about where I came from, how I got there. It doesn't talk about the troubles that I've had, having been or faced depression for many years, having been suicidal, having lived off of food stamps, having to fought for the life that my kids have today, or where they're heading. It doesn't speak to any of that, right? So what it doesn't say, I'm first generation American. That brings all kinds of other challenges that people who've lived here for multiple generations may or may not have had certain access to certain things, but I've learned to fight for and work hard for certain things that I have had because my parents didn't have, and because they sacrificed so much along the way to give me an opportunity, which in turn is giving me an opportunity to give my kids an opportunity that I didn't have along the way. I've faced gender discrimination, socioeconomic discrimination. I've lived on the East Coast, Northeast, Mid-Atlantic, West Coast, then Colorado/Midwest, and then here in Texas. And I can tell you, there are all kinds of different ways of being in this lovely nation of ours. But I faced different things. And like I said, I've had labels. But even all of that, at my core, I'm different. And I will share a few of the memories I have that speak to that. And one of my very first memories actually comes from me being a toddler. I was still potty training. Yes, I'm sharing more than probably most of you would ever want to know about me. But I woke up in the middle of the night. I yelled for my mom to come get me. And she walked me over. I sat down and I could feel all she wanted to do was go back to bed. This was definitely in the middle of the night. It was pitch black outside, except for the nightlight that was in the bathroom. And as I was sitting there, I was staring at the towels that were in front of me. They were crimson towels with rectangular patterns on it. And behind that towel rack was silver and blue striped wallpaper. And I was just staring at all of this and telling myself, I've got to hurry up. My mom wants to go back to bed. And as I was staring at all of this, all of a sudden there was this bright, bright light that just came into my vision. And I saw this with my own eyes. And then from that bright light, I saw the face of what's, I think, was an angel, but it was a tiny little baby with cherub, cute little cheeks and dirty blonde hair, and just a bright light around it. But it was really just the head. And he was talking to me. And I was screaming inside, terrified that I'm seeing something that I shouldn't be seeing. I wasn't seeing that towel that was in front of me anymore. And I, to this day, have no idea what he said. I just know that his mouth was moving. He was trying to talk to me and probably gave up because I couldn't pay attention at all to it. And when I finally snapped out of it, my mom, and he disappeared, my mom turned to me and she was like, "What did you see?" And that was the first moment that I realized I wasn't like other people. That my mom, who I trusted immensely and loved immensely, couldn't see the things that I was seeing, but she knew that something happened. Anyway, fast forward a few years, and to keep me on track, this was around 3rd grade. And there were horrible things in the news. This was a year after the Challenger exploded. Other things were happening in the Reagan administration. I remember the news being on and just being really sad and fearful of the Cold War and other things that were happening. And I turned to my mom and my dad and I said, I never want to come back here. I don't want to have another lifetime here. I'm done with this world. What I didn't realize is that at that time, no one talked to me about reincarnation. I had no idea what that was. I was raised Catholic. We have one life. That concept didn't exist. And it just came out of me. I was speaking my truth, but the people around me had no idea what I was talking about. And they didn't ask questions. It was just kind of like, okay, that's weird. And why would a 9-year-old kid be able to say any of this or speak to it? Fast forward a little bit too. I realized that I lived in a haunted house. There were all kinds of things that would pop up. And I had the ability to see things, hear things, feel things that no one else did. And as I got older and I moved on, I also realized that this stuff followed me, and not the stuff from the house I grew up in, but I wondered how much of this was other haunted houses that I lived in, or was it just me? And I was capable of tapping into things that other people couldn't. Anyway, from there, as I got older, I learned to channel some of this and realized that I had gifts that really felt like a curse for probably the first 3 decades of my life. And I took what I could see, I could hear, I could feel, and I studied Reiki. Reiki is energy healing. And there was one particular session that I want to share with you where energy healing, or Reiki, if you're not familiar with it, is really hands-on healing. And all it is you allow the loving energy of the universe to flow through you. And to the person who you're providing Reiki to, it's not about me in that moment. I'm just a conduit, and I'm able to just channel that to that person. And that loving energy goes to wherever they need it, mind, heart, body, whatever it is. It's not for me to read it or judge. There was one particular moment where I had 2 beings, unseen beings, show up and start talking to me in the middle of the session, and they asked me to step aside. That was the first time that had happened, and it really freaked me out because I'm there to protect somebody and help them in this moment of healing. And they gave me their names. They told me to look them up after the session was over, but they were real, even though I didn't believe in them and I was scared. I didn't want them to hurt this person who I was trying to heal. I went home right after and I looked them up, and I did find their names online, and I found out who they are, which kind of blew me away, to say the least. But why am I sharing all of this? I've had all kinds of labels in my life. My own labels: empath, intuitive, psychic, medium, healer, mom, wife, comms person. I'm in communications, marketing, advertising. I'm a professional. But I've also been labeled crazy, soulless pagan, faithless, evil, because people didn't ask. I was just different. No one asked, they weren't curious. And it scared them a lot of times, and the things that I could say or feel. How is this a gift? How do I turn this into something else? On the personal side, I've been able to help people because of these gifts, because I can read them, I can feel them. I can help them through various things. In one particular moment, there's a little girl who lives on the other side of the world who I can connect with telepathically, and I happen to know her father. And she was in the middle of a bitter custody battle, but she was able to speak to me, and I was able to tell her father what was going on. He was cut out of everything, and he was able to connect with people around her to validate the things that she was telling me, and it was able to help him through some of the things that he was going through. That's just one little moment on the personal side. At work, and this is the part that scares me with the people that I work with, that you guys are all online right now. I can be in a moment or a meeting and I can feel everybody in that meeting room. I know when someone's upset. I know when someone is very angry. I know when people are about to make a decision that's going to head down a path that wouldn't be good for them or for other people. And I also know when sometimes some people have to experience that and I have to let go. And other times when I try to guide them through it, but I'm faced with anger or frustration from them. It also helps me, though, set people at ease. I work in executive communications and employee engagement, and where this actually becomes a benefit is sometimes the people that I work with, not the people on this call, but when I'm partnering with executives, they don't quite know what to say or how to say it. I can feel them. And I can put words to the feelings that they have and what they want to accomplish, and create communications for them or coach them through something that they find tremendously difficult. And it's in that this gift is not a curse, and it provides benefit to other people. But I don't talk about it. Obviously, I don't share my difference with people because honestly, they wouldn't open up to me and they'd be terrified that I can feel or see things a certain way. Why am I sharing any of this with all of you today? And I'm looking at the time too, and I'm trying to wrap up really, really quickly. Why am I sharing this? We all have gifts. We're all different. But it's that unique quality in each one of us that makes the world a better place. And when we open up and we share our differences with everybody, it helps us all learn. Well, if we continue to be curious, be accepting, and hear things that sometimes we don't want to hear because we're afraid of that difference, it's not what we've been taught or learned along the way. If we open up and we listen to those things, we might learn something. We might carry it forward. We might be able to pay it forward and help others learn and grow from all of that. And in that particular moment, judgment starts to fade away. We're able to be kind and listen with openness and unconditional love to each other, and realize that the world is actually more colorful and better when we're all different. So I can keep going, and I'm going to stop right there. I will say that there's been catharsis. Thank you all for listening today. I've written books along the way that helped me express these things, because in a fictional way, in fictional setting, it's acceptable, right? And I've had people reach out to me saying, oh, that's so cool. Well, that's me. I just happened to write about it. But by sharing our truth, owning our truth, we become our own people. And in that, we are empowered, and we're empowering ourselves not to hide anymore, but to also be fully present in the world around us. And with that, we can be present for other people too. So thank you all. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here today. Thank you.
Wow, Andrea, thank you. You never cease to amaze me with your words and eloquence, but not just that, just the feeling and the meaning and the messages behind the words. You truly do have a gift. And I appreciate you coming on here and feeling comfortable to share that with others, because I know a lot of what you said is going to impact the way I act as well.
Love you.
Yeah.
Truly.
No,
Thank you.
Love you too. So next we have my first ever, I'm excited about this, my first ever couple presenting together. It's a true milestone for this rally. But I have to briefly say how I even know them, through my dear, dear, dear friend. I know she's here, Cheryl White. Cheryl and I go way back in our IFMA days, and she's always been such a rock in everyone's lives. Selfless, courageous, just determined to just make the world a kinder place and to make things right. So I have all the respect for Cheryl and all the friends from IFMA that came in as well. And she always spoke so highly of Joey and all her family and LaToya, and I'm blessed to have you guys here, because I know you have been doing your own thing to try to spread the kindness and make this world a better place. So welcome, Joey and LaToya.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you for allowing us to be a part of this. We know now, it's more important to kind of share our stories. Over the course of our lives, things we've experienced, especially just kind of jumping right into it, with racial inequality. That's kind of been a thing that we just, you experience it and you just kind of tuck it away and kind of find ways to move forward with it. But with all that, my name is Julius White, and
I'm LaToya Johnson.
And we both moved to Los Angeles, respectively, from Houston, and then she's from Kansas City.
Yep. And
we ended up meeting here and becoming good friends, and we became friends, and we really, from rip, we realized how important it is to have somebody that just truly cares about you and truly, understands you. And that's kind of the focus of what we wanted to talk about today, is just kind of like perspective. We have a personal training business here, One Body LA, and we work with a lot of different people, a lot of different ethnicities, and we've met people along the way that have changed our lives, that helped us, and we've helped them, and we've seen firsthand, kind of how and what it means to just care for people as humans, not seeing them for their color, not seeing them, for what they do for a living, and especially living in Los Angeles, where there's a lot of status, there's a lot of ego. It's super easy to get caught up in that, especially when you first move here. And we kind of realize how important it is to stay grounded and stay. She mentioned my mom, Cheryl. She's kind of taught me to really, to be yourself, be kind, be helpful, and that's kind of what led me into being in the profession that I'm in. As personal trainers, we help people, on a daily basis. We kind of help people, more than we help ourselves sometimes. We're always on the clock, trying to find ways for people to be healthy, whether it's with their nutrition or whether it's with their bodies or
mentally.
Exactly. Yeah. And more than anything, we've been doing this for 5 or 6 years. And one thing we've noticed is that we are more than just trainers, more than just people who provide a service for people. There's been times where we've had clients come in and say, I had a bad day at work, or, I felt this or I felt that. And we realized through that, we become like therapists, you know what I mean? And a lot of the people we work with, they come to us for advice. We're both, 27 years old, and we're born 2 days apart. But, we have people, who older or younger, that come to us for advice about things that they're experiencing. And I think a lot of that is because, we spend an hour with these people,
multiple times a week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, some of these people don't even spend an hour or so with their own family members or people that they're close to. So we naturally become, pretty close with these people. to the point where we know their personal lives, they know our personal lives, and it becomes, we build unity through that. We've created and built a lot of relationships with many different types of people.
Yeah.
And a lot of that, I think, is due to, certain experiences that we had in the past. And we want to kind of carry our experiences to be able to strengthen other people other than just their bodies and their nutrition. It's an emotional, thing that we have to attack too. And we're two people that are really big on our faith, and we look to our faith to, really try to spread kindness and love. So, we just want to use this opportunity today to let everybody know that this is what we do. We want to help people. We want to, share our experiences and allow people to really, feel that they can come to anybody and speak about whatever they're going through. So,
yeah. And I think with, in light of the racial injustice for us, like he said, we spend every day helping others, checking in with our clients and checking in on how they're feeling, how they're doing. But with everything going on, we've had clients check in on us, and say things like, I didn't realize that this could have been harmful. They're understanding things that can come off a certain way, or, just saying things like, oh, you guys are a young Black couple and your business is actually successful. Like, if, just little things like that, like if we weren't a young Black couple, it could easily be successful, but you have to work harder because you are a young Black couple. So little things that they're understanding that are hurtful or racist, and I think to see people turn the script and like now want to help us, that led us to think, well, this is a perfect time. People are wanting to understand. They're trying to understand. And so that's where we created, it went from just a boot camp to spread awareness to raising, thousands of dollars for organizations that help to spread awareness, because we're just two small people, in a big, big world. But we brought so many people together of all different races, all different ethnicities, to have one goal in mind, and that's just spread awareness that, not just towards Black people, but equality for all. There's so many things that, like he said, you just roll it off your shoulder because there's never been a safe time to talk about it or a safe place to talk about it. And I think now that more people are open to listening and open to understanding, it's a great time to speak what you feel, because people want to learn now, they want to understand, and they want to help, and like you said, we've been doing this for 5 years, and in that time, I don't think our clients have wanted to help us just as much as we wanted to help them. It's always been focused on them, and now to really see how much they also care for us, it feels good, but it also makes it more comfortable to actually speak out now and to want to like spread more awareness. So we, to do our part, have committed to continuing to use our knowledge and our expertise to give back by having more of these boot camps to bring people together. And the workout was great, it was so much fun, but at the end of it, to see everyone come together smiling and happy, and it was like a rainbow of people, that was the best part of it, like they all got a great workout, but then they all got to see that you can come together from all over the world and be smiling and happy together, I think was the best part of it.
Exactly. And it was, to be honest, it was really kind of surprising to see that support, because we, like I said, a lot of things we've experienced, just to kind of go off of my own particular story. When it came to first starting off here, as far as being a trainer, one thing I had trouble with is like trying to make the best impression, because I tend to get an impression that, I am, I guess, for lack of better words, the impression that I always get when I meet people is, oh, he's actually nice. You know what I mean? And it's like kind of a feeling of, feeling like you have to prove yourself before you even meet anybody. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I think, if that shifts, the world will shift. I think if people can look at each and every person as a human being and understand that they might have a story, to where if you knew my story, you probably wouldn't have a certain perception of me, you know, no matter who you are. And, you know, the biggest thing that I always get is like, you know, oh, you're actually nice. Oh, wow. Like I always get this feeling of relief, you know, when I meet people. And for so long, you know, even growing up, you know, I kind of felt that, and I just kind of thought that's just the way life is supposed to be for me. You know, it's just kind of, you just learn to accept it. So that's why I said it was so surprising to kind of see so many people, you know, really care and show. Like we had people reach out to us to say, you know, look, you know, I don't know where you are with this emotionally, but I just want to let you know that I'm here for you. You know, whatever you need, you know, I care for you. You mean the world to me. And then we also had people who were like wanting to understand. They were like, I don't honestly know what's going on. I don't know how it can help. I don't know, you know, what it is that needs to be done. But what can I do? What can I do to make the world a better place? And just like Andrea mentioned, is that curiosity, you know, having the curiosity and having the ability to want to learn and want to understand, you know, that's what's going to help make this a better place for everybody, not just Black people, white people. It's going to be a better place for everybody. So we just wanted to use this time to really share that, you know, if everyone really digs deep and understand that everybody has their own experiences, everybody is different, everybody is unique in their own way, everybody has their own perspective. You know, I use, like, I don't know if anybody have watched the Last Dance documentary about Michael Jordan. Everybody knew Michael Jordan was a great player. There's no doubt about that. But when you watch that documentary, you saw a whole different perspective that made you appreciate, you know, all the hard work that he put into being the man that he is. You know what I mean? So if everybody knew each other's backstory, I guarantee this would be, you know, the world would be a much better place. So we just wanted to use this as an opportunity to just let everybody know, like, you know, we could say we're introverts. We're not really particularly people who go out and just speak and talk about things like this. But we do realize, like, when we did make the move to want to create the workout for equality, the boot camp that we did, we realized that, like, if we just open up and really dig up the courage to just speak out or create something, I know Ozeal mentioned that, just create something of your own to, you know, to where people can come in and have a safe place to you know, build a community of people who want to see better things. You know, we truly think that's the resolution to everything that's going on. So
yeah, so we just wanted to share a little bit of that, and we do plan to do more boot camps. You know, raising, again, we had so many people reach out and have continued to ask when we're doing another one, just because I think it also allowed people a safe time and place to research organizations, to really think about how they can help, because we didn't have one set organization. We encourage people to research different organizations and see where they can help. So it really opened a lot of doors for a lot of people to understand, to do their own research, and they were excited about it. So I think, you know, we're excited to keep doing it, and we'd love to have all you guys join us next time. It's just a really fun place for everyone to come and join, and just really learn about different experiences, like you said, and to really educate yourself on how certain things might come off to people, and, you know, not be judgmental, and just really understand someone before making that judgment. And then I think we can all live in a better world. Exactly.
So we want to encourage everybody to smile, you know, help out. You know, we do this for a living. We help people for a living. You know, no matter who it is, no matter if you're at a grocery store or at a mall and you see someone struggling, or, you know, just to find ways to smile. And, you know, that's one thing about us and our business. We want to encourage people to just have fun, you know, to live life to the fullest. Because, like I said, there's so many things happening in this world, and you know, you just never know what can happen, and we don't have time to just really, you know, soak in being down. You know, we have to find ways to elevate each other and be happy, and you know, so that's all we have for you. But again, Andrea, thank you again for having us. This was amazing, and we hope to do this again sometime. Yes, and thank you all for sharing your stories too. Yes.
Thank you, guys. That was awesome. And, you know, your proud mama, she shares your videos all the time, and I watch them all the time. And I even watch them without sound, and I'm just intrigued and I'm hooked because your energy is contagious. It's full of positivity and strength and determination, and you just get such a positive vibe. So I invite you guys to follow what they do, as everyone here. But please put your links, your emails, all there, because really appreciate you. One thing, LaToya, that you said, respectfully disagree, is you said small people, we're just small people in a big, big world. I think you're big, huge people, instrumental people in a small world.
Yeah.
The world is smaller than we think. So just know that we have this first time we've met, you already had made a difference in my life. So
thank you.
thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Obie is here. So Obie, we just recently met, actually. He joined the first rally, and he was just a trooper and right on, and a huge supporter from the start. And he connected right away, and I connected with him right away. And he's like, where do I sign up? So we have Obie here. I'm so intrigued and looking forward to share your story. You obviously have a big heart. So welcome, Obie.
Thank you, Andrea. So I think the other Andrea said she's never shared some of this stuff, and I think Julius and LaToya said that they haven't either. So at least I'm in good company, because I've never actually said this out loud, and it's a difficult thing to. Can everybody hear me? I hope you can. Okay, it's a difficult thing to say, especially given the forum and the message, I guess. So bear with me. I promise. I promise it's going to start out rocky, but it'll get better. So so obviously my name's Obie. I'm retired military, 26 years, and when I say retired, my actual retirement date is August 6th. So I'm not quite done yet, but COVID has actually had me at home for a little while longer than I would have been. So grew up in a pretty normal, rural, average farm community with absolutely no diversity, no diversity whatsoever. I mean, everybody grew up there. Everybody lived within 5 miles. It was very very homogeneous. And in that, growing up, never questioned the things because they just seemed normal, right? So when I was about 16, I had a shocking realization that I'm probably a racist, and everybody that I know is probably a racist. And by that, I don't mean white robes and skinheads. I mean ordinary people with ignorant backgrounds and irrational beliefs about different people. So I started to question things and question the little labels that they would throw around, and the little, I guess we would call them microaggressions now, and the ways that they would that we, I guess, would all kind of engage in the same sorts of xenophobic behavior, which I had no clue what that was then. But at 16, I kind of started to get this inkling that it wasn't right. It wasn't, I just felt uncomfortable about the way that we collectively thought about other people. And so I started to question, how different things happen, and started to, actually, that's my when I started to really get interested in the etymology of words and making sure that we know what we're saying, right? Because words matter. Words have very specific meaning. And I think LaToya said it earlier, that somebody said something about being actually successful. And I'm not being an apologist at all, but I believe that rather than that coming from an evil place, even though it is evil, it comes from a place of ignorance and indoctrination. People that grow up in that environment have a tendency to just perpetuate what they don't know. It's much less excusable now, obviously, because we have the internet, but in the 70s when I was growing up, there was no, I mean, I had no point of reference other than, you know, there was nobody different than me. So, and I think the indoctrination, and I call it indoctrination, even though it wasn't a deliberate indoctrination, but it definitely, it sows fields in your brain that have you think a certain way or believe a certain way, that when you get older, at least for me, I think the other Andrea said it earlier, thoughts kind of pop into your head. And when those thoughts pop into your head, now I know that it's like cognitive retraining, very much like an addict would go through. As those thoughts pop into your head, you can either continue to go with what you've always known and what's comfortable for you and make that judgment, or you can sort of get thee behind me, Satan, I refute you, you know, and stop it. And then you make the decision as a educated and rational adult. So that's what I do. I choose, obviously, to do that. So fast forward to now. I have deliberately taught my children, and sometimes it's not the greatest for me personally, but I have deliberately taught them to be very, I don't want to say suspicious, but at least they should question authority. They should always think about where that comment or that negative thing came from. And then I've also taught them about microaggressions, and I was very proud to hear my son playing an online game, and I could only hear his end of it, but I heard him stop other people and then correct somebody and say, you know, that's not cool. We don't do that here. So I've taught them to try and recognize that there are people out there that are not evil, but will perpetuate the ignorance, and that the only way that we're going to get better is to refute it and to stop it and to correct it on the spot. So not exactly sure how long ago, but I started writing fantasy fiction stories with characters that kids can relate to, that suffer some sort of discrimination or injustice. And because of the characters, you know, we all kind of live vicariously through Harry Potter, right? So as the characters suffer these injustices and these discriminations, then my hope is that the reader feel some of that powerlessness and the shame and the anger and the need to change it, so that as they grow, they know that they don't have to have a thought pop into their head from way back when in words that other people used, and then have to shut it down. They will actually have a different, they will come to it with knowing that that was wrong to begin with. And hopefully that works. And if not, I think we just continue to share this message, and we continue to, I would like to challenge everybody who would like to do this again. Andrea, I know you're going to do it again, but to maybe invite somebody that you don't know would, automatically be the sort of person who would seek this out. If we could expose this to, I guess the term is preaching to the choir, right? I love the rallies. I love getting to know everybody and hearing the stories. But it would also, and I know, Andrea, you've been reaching out, but I think if we all try to grab somebody who wouldn't, not prejudging them, but who wouldn't, you wouldn't think would embrace diversity. If we could, bring some more people in and they could hear, like Julia said, if everybody heard everybody's story, it would be, there would be no problem. So if we could get more people, and I've been trying to pound the drum and get it out there, and I hope I'm doing the right thing, but thank you, Andrea. Thank you very much. That was actually easier than I thought it would be, even though my heart is pounding out of my chest. So thank you, guys. Thank you.
You did great, Obie. I'm so proud of you. I know it's not easy, but you did great. And people need to share that story, because you never know who you're going to touch. And they may tell it to someone else, and then someone else. So that's what this is all about. And I accept your challenge to invite people that perhaps may not know about this, or may be perhaps skeptical. They can come up with a courage that they didn't know they had. So yeah, challenge accepted from my end. Anyone else? All right. Thank you, Obie. Pleasure to have you. Last but not least, Miss Brenda. So Brenda, this is interesting. Brenda and I go way back to our college days, and there's so many college friends here, which it's like emotional for me. So thank you guys for all being here. But Brenda and I mean, we just knew of each other. We didn't really talk or hang out, but she came back into my life, I guess, when one of college friends here, Miss Dawn, had her first book release, and Brenda was there, and I just could sense like her energy was something I wanted to get to know more of. She mentioned she wanted to start a podcast, and I'm like, hey, I happen to know this cool guy named Ozeal. We should connect. But ever since then, we started following each other, and her posts, oh my gosh, they're so inspirational. They're so raw. Her content is just full of positivity and heart, and I am so proud of her for all the content that she's putting out there, because I know it takes a lot of courage. And I invite all of you to get to know Brenda, and I can't wait to get to know more of Brenda. And I'm so grateful that you've come into my life. So I'm so excited to hear your story.
Thank you. Hey, y'all. Whew, so I wanted to go last because, speaking is hard. And I thought I wanted to go last because, I'd have more time to sit here and be nervous. Can y'all hear me? But listening to everyone, I realize that I've gone last because everything I've heard and I texted Andrea last night and it's like, I have no idea what I'm going to say. I have nothing planned, but I started printing a bunch of stuff, just some ideas that popped in my head. And I feel like I was supposed to go last now, just to kind of wrap it up. So my name's Brenda. I am 40 something. I am a mom of 2 teenage boys. And I guess I was born and raised in Texas. I live in Houston. And I guess the last 6 years of my life have brought me to this moment. And just so y'all know, I speak fluent in song lyrics and quotes. And so that's kind of how I'm going to wrap this up and kind of share my story. 6 years ago, I was going about life. I had 2 sons. I had the house in the suburbs and a high school sweetheart husband. I was content, happy, had everything. And then the rug got pulled from under me when my husband said, "Hey, I'm done here. I want a divorce. I've made my decision." And that's where this begins. I was a stay-at-home mom. I didn't graduate college. I have a high school diploma, and like my world as I knew it was crumbling at my feet. And so be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. And I've learned that because I was living that hard battle, you know? And so right before we got on here, I read this quote: "God can take the deepest sorrow and weave it into a pattern for good." And that's why I'm here, because he took that hard time in my life and he said, "You know what? I'm here. I'm going to help you, and you're going to help other people," because we are. No matter what it is, something big, small, everyone is hurting. So, and I was. So anyway, I'll be divorced 5 years now, the end of this month. So another quote I love is, "We've already survived 100% of our worst days. Today may seem like the worst day. Tomorrow's new. You're going to be okay." So 3 years ago, you know, I thought the divorce was the big thing. 3 years ago, my dad got the hard news that he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And I don't know if you know a lot about cancer, but pancreatic cancer is the short straw. It is the worst one you could ever have. He found out in May. My dad died in September. And so there I was again on the floor, like, why? So you have to pull yourself up. I had to pull myself up. And so, you know, I've already been through one hard thing. I have to keep going. And I think that, you know, a lot of us who've shared here have those things. And, you know, we just have to pick ourselves up and keep going. And so I had this image not too long ago, and Andrea K and Julius kind of touched on this, is an iceberg. You know, an iceberg, you can see the tip on top, and underneath is huge piece of ice that you don't even see. So my thing now is, don't put all your focus on those things on the surface, because people are so much more than you see. And what you think they are, you know, what you put out, what you see on Facebook, the vacations and all the things, like underneath there is hurting people. And so when I start looking at that, like all of the people around me, I want to know, like, you know, what's under there? What are you hurting? How can I help you? And so I got a job at an elementary school, and this is how I started. I read a quote, one of the, kind of like the ones I've been reading to you now. I read a quote and it spoke to me. And so I decided to get a dry erase board and hang it on my office door at work and write a quote every day, because that's what I needed to get through my day. Well, before I knew it, people were stopping by to say, thanks for posting that. Oh, wow, that really spoke to me. Oh my gosh, you know, this. And so through those quotes, I have been able to, without even saying a word, reach people. And so I started saying things online, telling my story. And then I'd start realizing the truth in the things that I'm reading. And, you know, and I wrote this down so I wouldn't forget, you know, right now more than ever, being kind is so important. And I think with kindness, there's love. And I think it's important to be kind to ourselves, give ourselves grace, and then we can be kind to each other. And it's just so important. So like, you know, Julius, you guys are, it doesn't matter how old you are either. You know, at the elementary school, these kids, they tell me stories and I'm just like, wow, you're going through so many things that as a kid and, you know, as a 27-year-old, you've gone through. And it doesn't matter how old you are, you have something to say, you can be impactful, and, you know, just keep sharing parts of you. And I think that when you share parts of you, the water goes down and people start to see what's under there. And then when you do that, then you understand where that person's coming from, where that person's been. And so I just, for me, you know, when I share my story, you know, it opens also doors for people to share their stories, and they connect with you. And, you know, in a world where you can be anything, like being kind is the best, because that connects us and brings us together. And, you know, like Andrea said, she and I knew who she was, and I remember being in that space, and you never know. And this is a quote that I've come up with that I've posted. It's like, those people in your life then and now, they're there on purpose. Like this right here, this Zoom, they're like the ripples and the connections that are starting here are going to just keep going. So, you know, even when it's hard, even when it feels weird and you're shaking and you're scared, you have to find your way to speak up, to be nice to someone. And for me, another thing that I've had to learn is that even the people that hurt you, you know, even that heartache that the divorce brought onto me, I had to like dig deep and realize that maybe my ex-husband was hurting too. There was things that I didn't know and didn't see on the daily that he was struggling with. And so I have to be nice to him too. Like the people that cut you off, you know, not immediately do I go there, but I'm like, you know, what are they in a hurry about? What is going on with them? And, you know, maybe you pray for that person, or you just shoot some positiveness towards them, because, you know, we all have something. And I hope that, and I think with Andrea's platform here, it's that we stop being afraid of those things we're hiding, or those things that we're going through, and we share them, because someone else here may be going through the same thing, and they need to hear you say what you have to say, so they can be okay saying it, so then they can share. So then that kindness and that love, that's how it keeps going. So I'm excited to be here. I never in a million years would have thought this is something I would do. I'm definitely an introvert extrovert. I'm an open book, but I don't like to be the center of attention. Like, that's just not me. Like, even I don't want you to sing happy birthday to me because I don't want people looking at me. But what I've realized is that we have to, because that's how we reach people. That's how we get down underneath the surface and understand each other. And so I really thank y'all for listening. I think it's good things here, and let's just take this day and go with it. If when we get off of here, you send an email to someone, send a text to someone, just say, hey, you know what? You're awesome. I miss you. I love you. I haven't talked to you. Like, those are the little things. It doesn't take anything big. My quote board at school, I just decided to make that choice to start writing things that I saw, and it touched people. And your boot camps, those are touching people. Like, little things, you know, Andrea K, you know, sharing those things. You just showed those people at work you're underneath, and where you're probably nervous and like don't want to go to work on Monday, they're going to be like, ah, like, I know something new, I understand. And that's the cool thing. And Ozeal, yes, I have a podcast. I need your help. Yeah, so thanks, y'all. Thanks for listening.
The first of many inspirational speeches from Miss Brenda. I know it. I can feel it. I can see it. I am so proud of you. It takes a lot of courage, and you got me hooked with those quotes as well. I got to tell you, I'm a quote lover, and you got me hooked. But thank you so much for being here and giving this platform a chance. And actually, you've already inspired me, if that was any possible, even more. We have a couple minutes left. We have almost 30 minutes, which is amazing, because one of the things that I was trying to get feedback from the first rally was the people hoped they had more time to share amongst each other and speak or ask questions to the speakers. So that's what we're going to do. First, I want to, and if you want to speak, feel free and unmute yourself. But I want to open the floor to anyone that has any questions to any of our wonderful, inspirational souls that spoke today.
Well, let me start by saying, since I've been part of one of these already, it takes a lot of courage, guys. I love everything that I heard today. And it just speaks volumes about the character and the values and who we are as people. And I'm a big believer in the law of attraction, and people like draws like. And these people who have all these hearts and want to share and talk and make change, each and every single one of you that took part today, I commend you, because again, it's not easy. It's not easy to stand in front of a camera and talk and be open, knowing that there's 20, 30 people looking into you and really just peering into your soul in that one moment. And it's tough, but to each and every single one of you, again, that takes courage, and it takes a lot. I know what your feeling is right now. A lot of them probably were shaking while they were doing it and talking and feeling super nervous. And even I, at this point, I've done tons of these, but even then, to still open up and show your heart and be vulnerable, that takes a lot. So just to each and every one of you, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you, Andrea, again, for putting this together. Anytime you want to put these out there, I will be a part of these, because again, I take so much from every single person here who spoke today. That's all I have to say.
Gabriel's awesome. Anyone else have any questions for our speakers or any comments?
I had a comment.
Who's speaking?
Somebody else speaking?
Sharon.
The comment that Brenda made about her her board where she made a quote. You can do that anywhere. I made that comment in the chat. I do it every day on my group forum. And the response from people, you never know whose heart you're going to hit. And God I pray about it before I start, and God just kind of gives me the right comment at the right time. And almost every day, somebody says, I needed that. So you never know who you're going to hit. Do it.
I started putting up little 3x5 card quotes, like little Easter eggs, all throughout our local VA. Like just taping them to the mirror, or putting them on the right above the thing where you would hit the button to go up or down in the elevator, because a lot of those guys don't get out, and maybe not have access to the internet or whatever, but they don't know who does it. But I just randomly sneak in there, and not sneak in there because I go to the VA too, but just put them up all over.
That is the best. That's
yeah.
awesome.
I just want to say really quick too is that, when you're kind, or when you share things like that, or, I know sometimes you can write something on a sticky, even if you just like put it on a random card, like people we don't want to be alone, and knowing that you're not alone, what a great feeling that is. And so that too, I think kindness helps people feel less alone, and especially now when we're in our houses, quarantining. It's important that we don't forget those people.
I want to add something, guys. One of the things that I'm a big fan of random acts of kindness. And this is a practice that I started early this year. Once a month, I'll pick a day and I will randomly just go through my Facebook. And of course, since I'm a podcaster, I like to leave voice messages. So I'll go on there. I think, Andrew, I left you one a long time ago. I'm not sure. But what I'll do is I'll just randomly pick people that I lost touch with. And I'll say, hey, listen, Raul, I haven't heard from you for a long time. Just wanted to let you know that I really care about you, and I hope all the family's doing well. And I'll just leave a really kind message and just check in with people that I've lost touch with. So again, I love the fact that with the quotes, you never know who you're going to touch, but just take some time out, to be mindful of what can I do to check in with other people. Emotional, I know everybody talks about mental wellness, but emotional wellness is real, guys. And I think it's important for us to check in with people's emotions as well. So I think that that's something that I use to check in with people on social media, is just the voice messaging on Facebook, pick 5 people, whether it's voice or through written format, just check in randomly. And I think people would appreciate that. I know people always are just surprised and shocked and are really appreciative when I do that on a monthly basis. So something that I definitely put into practice and want to share with you guys.
Thank you, Ozeal. I'm sorry to jump in real quick, but statistically speaking, someone of the 31 of us on here has or is thinking about harming themselves. So, we gotta shine light everywhere because it's real. You're absolutely right, man. Thanks for saying that.
Absolutely, man.
Anyone else? Tim,
Ryan.
Tim, we can't hear you. I don't know if you're muted.
There you go.
There we go. We can't hear you again.
I think Prying Little has his hand up too, or he did.
Let's go to Ryan, and then we'll go back to Tim to see if he can.
Thank you. I'm trying to lower my hand here a little bit if you want. I've had it up for a while. It's tired. But I didn't want to jump over anybody that had a question. I was just trying to be cordial. Ozeal knows this. I've worked with Zoom for a while since I'm a teacher, and I'll shout him out. He won't shout himself out, but I will. He has a YouTube page called Podcast Influence. Go check him out. This is a guy who has the mind for community. So again, I'm shouting out because I can. But I say that also that I went and looked at Julius and LaToya's page. I looked at your YouTube page as well. And I will have to concur what Andrea said is that I'm a Navy veteran and the world's made up mostly of water. So it is a small world, but it is a noisy world. It is a competitive world. That's true. But your message is being heard today. So we're thankful for you guys. As far as what you said, Andrea, about losing your loved one, I lost one a few years ago and it still hurts this day. My little sweet Bella, when we had to put her down that very day, I started going to, before that, I started going to equestrian therapy. People don't know what that is. You literally work with horses. It's not where you ride horses. People have a misconception about that. It is meant for counseling because a horse is very much an animal that will mirror your emotions when you walk into its presence. And that day when I put her down, I called my counselor and I said, can I please go see my horse? I need to go talk to Seven. And she put me in the pit and I had just tears running down my face. And he could sense it. He could tell. And he came up and gave me comfort. So even if you don't get another pet, most people say that's the easy way. I will recommend equine-based therapy to anybody out there. I scoffed at it at first. I'm like, I'm a Navy veteran. What's working with a horse have to do with what I carry and my issues? And I'm proud to say that I was wrong. So if there is one nearby, then definitely look into that. I will share one online. Some of y'all that are not in the area, just so you can have it. Definitely look into it. It's called the Running Free Ranch. I'm not saying go there because I'm really pushing it, but if there's something similar to that in your area, go look into this. It's a very real thing for those that need to learn how to cope. So I put that out there as well. And since Obie mentioned about we need to be a light in a certain place, I'm going to mention another one too. Again, I follow a very few nonprofits, and I'm putting them out there in a shameless plug because it helps. Again, my story is not as relevant at this point. Mine is more of know what I'm following because I'm a better person because of it. And I put it out earlier on accident. I didn't mean to share it, but I am going to share it again. There is a gentleman that served on my ship in the USS Pearl Harbor named Dan Hurd. This gentleman is literally riding across America right now on his bicycle to raise suicide awareness. Guys, every minute we lose 12 people to suicide. And every minute, 25 of them make an attempt. That's not to scare anybody. We need to raise awareness and we have to change the stigma. And that's what this man is doing. So I'm asking y'all in love, if you would start following his journey with me, wherever you are. And he's very good about putting his stuff out. I just shared it. It's called Ride with Dan USA. Go take a look at Dan Hurd's story. I'm part of it. I embrace him on my podcast. I pre-roll for him often. So again, that's my part to share. I love everything that was mentioned today. So big shout out to everybody. I hope that helps for those that need some comfort. Check out equestrian therapy. Follow his journey because he will show you how kindness is being brought literally on a bicycle across America to change the stigma. So God bless you all, and thank you for the message everybody sent. I'm putting myself on mute now. I think I'm at 5 minutes. So that was good.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
I just noticed your digital hand. Sorry, I'm not a Zoom expert.
No, it's fine. It's just about being cordial. I was like, hey, I don't want to jump over anybody's questions because
Just
we're
go like
us are
business,
podcasters. We're all talkers. So it's okay.
That's
kindness.
Yes, that's great though. I mean, great message to wait for. I love that. So, and again, Andrea, I think we should all take a moment and thank you again for putting all this together. You are one of the sweetest, kindest individuals that I know, and I am blessed beyond belief that when we made that connection, how we connected and how our friendship has developed. So anytime, again, that's why I say I'll do anything for Andrea because I know who she is and I know where her heart is and what her heart is about. So again, thank you so much, Andrea, for putting all this together. And again, condolences on the dog. I know what that's like. And I think we all do about, even if it's a pet or a family member, it is a family member. Mm-hmm. We lose something. We lose a piece of ourselves, and that's never easy to let go of. So, just again, thank you so much, Andrea.
We love you.
Love you. Yes, we do.
Love you
Love you
guys
with all our
too. It
hearts.
means a lot. I want to close it out with something I've never tried before, but I see all these other groups doing it, and I think it's pretty cool. And actually, Brenda inspired me to just do it just now, because she says, share a part of you so the water comes down. And I want to challenge, if you're comfortable, I'm going to put you into, yikes, I'm going to put you into breakout rooms. And I don't know, I don't know who's going to be with who. It's the computer automatically just assigns you to people. And see if you can share a part of you to just let the water come down a tiny bit more. And then maybe, you know, someone's story may inspire you. I'll just give you like 5 minutes to do that, and then we'll come back if anyone wants to share any things they heard. Does that sound cool?
Awesome.
All right. Let's try this. First time. Okay. How many rooms? 5. Let's try 5 rooms. 5 to 6 participants per room. 4 to 5 participants. Let's try 6 rooms. 4 to 5 participants per room. Have fun. See you in 5 minutes. Everyone repopulating. This is pretty cool.
That was very cool. I've never done that. It was very fun.
Yeah, it was my first time being on the pilot seat of it, but I've experienced it before. So it was really cool.
Not at all as scary as I thought. It was like,
no. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. Everyone should appear. Yeah, there you go. Nice, welcome back.
That was fun.
Yeah,
That was fun. Number one, I got to meet your father. I see the apple does not fall far from the tree. Incredible. So thank you so much for doing that. I had fun. And thank you, Roberto. I learned about his journey as well. So that was awesome.
Nice. I love quotes. I saw a pomegranate tree like several years ago, and I was like, that's true. Look at the fruit. It's like right there by the tree. I never really realized that.
Apples do that too.
Do they? I love it.
cool. Well, I'm glad. It's because of you. I mean, you guys wanted the extra time to connect, and I love this idea, and I think we're going to continue to do it. So we just have 5 more minutes left, but I wanted to give them to you. So anything, sharing a part of you, any water going down moments that really stood up to you from someone you heard or something you heard?
Tim has his hand up, Andrea.
Sorry?
Tim has his hand up.
Oh, yes, Tim. Let's try again, Tim.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. One thing that really inspired me about Julius and LaToya White, you're a Black business and actually successful. And I hear a lot about Obama having created divisions in this country. And I think what really happened was Obama was such an excellent man that white people had never seen such a thing. A lot of people who lived cloistered lives had never seen such a beautiful human being. And so that caused them to react with hatred and gathering together in tribalism. Can you help me with that? Can you help me to know how to say that?
Yeah, I think that's the, I think that when Obama ended up, winning early on in his career, was more than 8 years ago, I think it kind of took a shock. And that was I think one of the first shifts to where people really understood and realized wow, this is what America should be. This is what America should stand for. It doesn't matter who's, up at the podium. It doesn't matter who's at leadership. We have many different people and from many different backgrounds who, can lead and can have a voice and can, really represent America. So I think, I think one of the biggest things as far as understanding how to go about that is really, understand we're all human. We're all human beings. We all have gifts. We all have ways to, help people, inspire people, and we all have the capabilities to do great things. And I know, Andrea, you mentioned LaToya, she's not a small person in a big world. We're all big people, and we can make big impacts individually to make the world a better place. Every person in this Zoom meeting right now has the potential to change the world single-handedly. You know what I mean? So I think having the ability to look at each other and really understand, I can look at Andrea, I can look at Brenda, Tim. We all have ways. We can all change the world and be great. And we should assume that. We should give people the benefit of the doubt. Before we even meet them, before we even understand their background. You're a great person until proven otherwise. That's how I kind of look at every person that I come about. So that's just my take on it.
So let's all put our hand out like that right here. Everyone put your hand out. We together, pretend, just picture all of us just putting our hands together. We together can change the world. Say, I can change the world. I can change the world. That was really louder. 1, 2, 3. I
can
change the world.
change the world. Do you feel the energy?
You guys have already changed my world.
Yay!
You guys have done that.
We have 1 minute left. We're going to continue to do these. I'm always targeting the last Saturday of each month. So August 29th it is. I've had a few people reach out. They're wanting to be formal speakers. Feel free to reach out if you're interested. Between now and then, though, I want to end with the same thing I did last time, is to challenge each of you. If you had anything today that kind of changed your perspective, touched your heart, or just made you think a little bit differently about yourself, I want you to pledge to pay it forward between now and the next time that we meet, and hopefully you will meet with us again. Is that, do a heart if you think you can do that. Great. Any other closing remarks?
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Yes.
Andrea, I wanted to say one thing.
Yeah.
Of course, religion is always a topic that you want to stay away from, especially in today's world, unfortunately. But there's a saying that I like to keep in mind always. I like to say, don't keep the faith, spread it. So to me, faith goes hand in hand with love. And love is a topic that we've been talking about here today in making change, community change. And so I wish there was a way in which I could say, you know, don't keep the love, spread it, but that's it. You know, in terms of don't keep the faith, spread it. And that's what we need to do. Every chance you get, you know, every chance you get, hurry, spread that love. You know, just a little bit of, you know, God bless you at the end of when you're going through the line at Kroger or the grocery store, you know, thank you and God bless you. God bless you. You know, that in itself says, you know, I love you. So if we could do that, it doesn't take much time and it doesn't cost any money. It just comes straight out of your heart. You know, just that could be painted forward, I believe. And as far as your situation with your puppy, it reminds me of when I was in grade school. The Benedictine nuns used to instill in us the story about this African tribe. I don't know if it's true or not. Of course, nuns, I don't think, lie. But they used to tell us about this African tribe that when a child was born, they all cried. They mourned when a child was born because it had to go through so much suffering in the world. And when someone died, they celebrated. They celebrated, they cheered, they danced, they laughed, they had a party to celebrate that person's life because they no longer had to suffer on this world. So maybe your thought for the rest of the day is to keep in mind your little puppy and thank God for his life, and you know, thank him for allowing your little pup, your little loved one, not to have to suffer anymore. And maybe that should bring you some cheer. Okay.
Thank you, Raul. That I couldn't think of any more beautiful way to end it. Thank you, Raul. Thank you to speakers. Amazing. So proud of you. And thank you for everyone for being here. Till next time.